Hi friends, welcome back to the channel. My name is Abby and today we're going to be doing a really quick garden planning video. I know there are apps and websites you can use that, tell you exactly how much space each plant needs and exactly what date it should go out, how many of each plant you need to feed your family, companion planting, like things you should put together, things you should not be putting together, all sorts of great resources out there for you. Those stress me out a little bit. I'm very type A in pretty much every area of my life except for my garden. I just feel like gotta let your heart lead you in some things, So I just kind of like to come up with a rough plan. I just do it on a piece of paper. I do it in pencil so I can kind of erase things if I change my mind in a couple days. Obviously, before I've planted it, once it's planted, it's kind of stuck there for the year. But I like to have a rough plan so I don't just go out completely blind. I have kind of an idea of where I want things and thought through a few items in my head, kind of worked through some issues before I actually get the plants in the ground. So join me as we do that today. I feel like this is one of those like early 2000s draw my life video things, but it's not. So I start with a list of all the things I'm planning to plant this year. And then I have a rough diagram of my garden. This is definitely perfectly to scale. And I totally measured everything out. That's complete sarcasm. But our garden is a rectangle. Over here we have the asparagus bed. Those are perennials. They come up every year. Obviously, they cannot be moved. So my asparagus are here, my garden as a whole. I already set up fencing along this side. And I currently planted peas there. So I'm going to start as peas, and I'm going to add tomatoes as the season goes on. So I already planted peas on this side. When it's time to plant the tomatoes, I will put them on the opposite side, and hopefully these will be just kind of about done at that point. I'm also going to put another row of fencing here. This is a cattle panel, so it's shorter, and I will be doing the same thing with peas and tomatoes here. And then I'm assuming I'm going to put my ground cherries. I'm going to write this all in pencil. My ground cherries are going to go right here at the end of the tomato aisle is my plan. I also might put in some flowers here and there. Sometimes I plan out my flower area, sometimes I don't. I do want to make a note right around here. I'll just do a squiggly line. We have some flowers already in the garden. I just planted a pack of like full sun wildflowers the first year we had our garden because I wanted some pollinators, and they have reseeded themselves every single year. So they're already like starting to pop up, which is so fun. Love it so much. So we do have a line of flowers kind of in the middle of the garden there. So I have my peas. I'm going to just check off my list. And I have my tomatoes and my ground cherries. So I can check them all off of my list. Next, I'm going to put in, let me look. All right, I think I'm going to do cucumbers next, and I'm going to put them, where do I want to put my cucumbers? Let me just start with what I know. I know I want to do my pumpkins and zucchini over here because they will have space to grow into my asparagus bed. That's what I've decided. So I'm going to plant my pumpkins kind of along here. I'm just going to make circles. These are going to be my pumpkins. And then down here, these last two-ish will be zucchini. Again, this doesn't necessarily mean I'm only planting 2 zucchini plants and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pumpkin plants. It just means I'll plant as many as I feel like fit along here. But this is just to kind of like help me as I'm planting to kind of think through where I want to put everything. So zucchini and pumpkins will be along here so they can grow into the asparagus bed. I'm thinking I actually want to switch this already. So this is why I'm doing this in pencil, because I think I want my zucchinis closer to the house. I should say our house is on this side of the garden. So we'll do these two, false alarm everyone, as zucchini. And these here will just be my pumpkins. And hopefully they will just vine out and grow into the asparagus bed, because at that point the asparagus would have ferned up. We won't be harvesting it anymore. So that should be perfect. All right, so I can cross off zucchini and pumpkins. I definitely need to put in like my lettuce, kale, spinach area, carrots as well. So I'm thinking I'm going to do those. I'm trying to look. Yeah, I can do those right next to the flowers here. I'm just gonna write carrot, lettuce, kale, and spinach. So some of my lettuces are more of a romaine style, like a heading lettuce, and then other things are a salad bowl mix. So I just kind of sprinkle the seeds in. So that will, I just know it'll be in this area, not necessarily exactly like this. This is again, just to give me an idea of when I go to plant things, I don't like put the carrots up here and then realize that was a really bad idea. Because once they're planted, you really shouldn't take them out of the garden or out of the ground. I am going to put along here, yeah, why not? I'm going to put my cold weather veggies all over here, all the way down here. Doop, 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 doop. So many. So this will be my Brussels, broccoli, and cabbages, which right now our cabbages are looking a little rough, so I'm not sure we're going to get any cabbages. But Brussels, broccoli, and cabbage all the way along here, because by the time they are finished, you know, producing, because they're the cool weather plants, the pumpkins will start to get bigger and take over this area. Anyways, I'm also going to plant, let's see, do I want to do, sorry, this is every single year. I'm like, what? I'm going to put this here, and then I change my mind. I think I'm going to do like a little herb patch right here on the other side of the flowers. Right here. I'm going to do some herbs right here. I have all different kinds of herbs, cilantro, basil, dill, all the different herbs, but I will just put them all in this little patch. So let me just cross things off because I have not been doing that. Cabbage, Brussels, broccoli. I still need to figure out a spot for my peppers and my onions, and I did herbs. I have watermelons and corn on here with a question mark because I'm not positive if I will be planting them this year. I have some seeds left over, so we'll have to decide about that. I do think I'm going to do my onions just right here along the flowers. They usually take up 2 rows-ish, and I plant them pretty close together. Onions. Again, I'm trying to make sure that I leave space for my pumpkins and everything to spread because I don't want to plant things that are super low to the ground or I won't, like they'll just be swallowed up by the pumpkins because they like to take over. So I could plant, once I'm done with the Brussels, broccoli, and cabbage, I could put the sorghum and amaranth over there. They are for our chickens. So that's probably what I'll do because they tend to grow taller. So I'll say Brussels, broccoli, and cabbage. And then amaranth and sorghum. Because they grow pretty tall. So in theory, they should start growing up above the pumpkins. Again, this is all in theory. I put my onions, so let me cross those off. Did my amaranth and sorghum. Perfect. My main things I still need to plant are peppers, green beans, potatoes, and sweet potatoes. Okay, so we'll just do peppers all along here. So I'll do 2 rows of tomatoes, and then I'll do peppers, however many peppers we decide to plant. This might be really stressing out my like type A gardeners, and I'm a type A person in every aspect of my life except gardening. I'm just like, whatever my heart tells me is how many we're going to plant. However many we get, however many I feel like it, we're just going to put them in the ground. So I got my peppers. Let me cross those off. I need to do my potatoes. So we're going to do this whole chunk here. And we are going to try a new method of potatoes. I've always dug the potatoes in the ground, planted the potatoes, and then you have to like dig them up again. We are going to do more of a Ruth Stout style where you just kind of like nestle the potato in the dirt and then cover it with leaf mulch or straw or whatever you have. We can get leaf mulch for free. So we'll probably be using leaf mulch. But anyways, you just kind of cover it on top of the potatoes. The potatoes grow more surface level in the dirt, and then you just peel back that mulch layer and your potatoes are kind of right there. You don't have to actually dig down for them, which I think that would be so helpful. Very excited to see how that works. So we'll do potatoes and then sweet potatoes. We'll do next to those. Sweet potatoes. The sweet potatoes are a more tropical plant. They like really warm weather. So these potatoes, like the white potatoes or red potatoes, I haven't even decided what I'm growing yet this year. They will be right next to the flowers. So I can come over however far I need to. And then I'll just know to put the sweet potatoes right next to those potatoes once it warms up. So that's perfect. Onions, broccoli, awesome. I believe I've changed my mind already. Okay, we're going to switch the onions. I'm actually going to put them, get those out of here. I'm actually going to put them this way. I know that might be a weird idea, but I think it's going to be perfect. I'm going to put them this way. Onions, onions. And then I like to trellis my cucumbers. So I can put my little, I have these round, I think I have 3 of them. But anyways, I can put my cucumbers on our little round trellis things and they can just grow up those cucumbers. Perfection. And again, I can rearrange things a little bit if I need to, just kind of space-wise, once I actually start putting things in the ground. All right, so now I'm going to put green beans here. Green beans. Again, this might not be 2 rows of green beans. It might be like 4 or 5 rows of green beans, but just this area here next to my peppers, between my sweet potatoes and my peppers will be my green beans. I love to do succession planting of those. So like do 1 row, wait a week or 2, do another row. Let me cross off what I have. I have green beans, cucumbers, potatoes, sweet potatoes, corn. I'm not sure I'm going to do corn this year. I have some seeds left over. If I have a random hole in the garden that I just need something in, I might put some corn in, but we have not had great luck with corn, so I don't want to plan on that necessarily. And then watermelons. Kind of same thing. If I have a space for watermelon, I might plant a watermelon, but I'm not going to plan on those. And then my flowers, I don't know if I want to plan where I'm going to put these or just kind of add them in as we go. I have some marigolds, zinnias, cosmos, borage, and sunflowers that I want to plant, but that just might be in the moment. I'll figure out where I want to put them. All right. Okay, so for now, this is my rough plan going into it. Obviously, this could completely change tomorrow, but I like to have just kind of a rough plan in my mind of kind of where I want things. So we know this flower row is definitely going to be here. So let me put that in pen. And I'll make it bold because this flower row cannot change. It's there every single year. My asparagus bed over here cannot change. My peas and tomatoes right here, I'm going to leave those because I've already put in the fences for them. Planning to put ground cherries on the end here, planning to put peppers right next to my tomatoes. Then I will go into our rows and rows of green beans, however many that might be. Our 1 row to 5 rows, who knows how many sweet potato slips we're going to get. We'll fit in as many as we can, which will be right next to our potatoes. And then down here we have some herbs. We'll just do a little patch of herbs. This is also close-ish to our house, so I can just walk right out and grab herbs if I need them. Carrots, lettuce, kale, spinach will all be in this area here, again, because the house is on this side, so I can just walk right out and kind of grab some lettuce or spinach or whatever we might need for the day. Followed by our trellises for the cucumbers. We have our skinny little rows of onions. I'm going to plant our, see now I'm torn, man. Yeah, I'll probably just still do that there. I will plant our Brussels broccoli and cabbage along here. They will be finished relatively early on just because they're a cool weather crop. So as soon as it starts getting warm, I will need to pull those. I will then replace them with amaranth and sorghum. Since those do get tall, they will be able to grow up through my pumpkins, which will be here taking over this, third of the garden probably. And then I will keep my few zucchini plants down here towards the house because zucchini you need to harvest pretty much every day. So I'm glad that it's right here near our house so I can reach it easily. So we're going to start with that plan. Then I have flowers. I will obviously intermix. Again, marigolds, zinnias, cosmos, borage, and sunflowers that I will add to the garden somewhere. And I think that's what we're going to go with for now. So I'm so excited. It's gardening season, you guys. Let's do this. All right, so that's it. I hope you guys are inspired. I hope this helps make gardening a little bit easier for you. Hopefully my methods do not stress you out, because I'm sure it would stress some people out there. Very, very type A gardeners out there, and I so wish I was one of them, but I'm just not. My garden ends up being kind of a hodgepodge at the end of the year, where I'm like, there's space here, and I just start throwing more plants into it. So I'm glad we have this rough working diagram to go off of, and we'll just see how the garden progresses from here. It's always better to go in with a little bit of a plan, even if you end up tweaking it in the end. So I hope this inspires you. I hope you are prepping to get your garden ready. I know we're here in zone 6, so we haven't really put anything in the actual garden yet, just a few peas so far. But we're excited to actually get into the growing season. I hope you have a wonderful day, a wonderful weekend, and I will see you next time. Bye.